So now we're going to take a look at how to enter our data into SPSS. And it's important to understand that we've been very trained to think of a spreadsheet within the context of Excel. And so for us in Excel, we would go to the first column and we would type in the title of that column and then we would enter our data. That is not how SPSS is designed to function. To tell SPSS what that column is, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see variable view. So you have to enter this information so that it knows what that column stands for, and it's quite a bit more detailed than Excel. So let's say my first column is maybe student hours studied. So I'm going to be entering in the hours studied that students report on, say, a survey. We always want to leave the type as numeric. Even if you're entering something like gender, ethnicity, you're going to leave it as numeric. Any other option here, and it won't see it in SPSS to run an analysis. So even though string is offered here, you don't want to change it to a string. We have to keep everything numeric. For decimals, a lot of times I will adjust this just because I don't want to see the 0.00 at the end of something. So if you want a decimal in your value, like 2.7, you would want to have one decimal. I want whole numbers, so I'm going to make it 0. Then for values, values is only used if you're working with numbers that are really categories. So for instance, if like 1 stands for male and 2 stands for female, then we would need to enter values. Because we're entering an actual measurable number, we don't enter anything there. So we're going to go over to measure, and these are the 3 options that we have to measure. So scale is when I'm actually measuring something, meaning that the number I entered corresponds to a measurable thing. So I am measuring time, so it is a scale variable. If you were looking at test scores, age, all of those are meaningful numbers. If you're ordinal, it's a number that really is a category, like small, medium, large. So if I'm ordinal, a 1 might be a small, a 2 might be a medium, a 3 might be a large. So those numbers themselves stand for a category that can be put into an order. Nominal means it's a category with no order, something like gender, something like ethnicity. Those things are going to fall into the nominal category. So I'm going to leave that as scale, and then let's say I do have something like ethnicity that I want to enter. It is not a numeric variable, but for the purpose of SPSS, we're going to leave it there. I'm going to use whole numbers for my categories, so I'm going to change my decimal to a 0. Then I'm going to go into my measurement, and I'm going to say, well, if it's ethnicity, there's no like order or order that I can put them in where one is bigger than the other or something like that. So it's going to be nominal. Then I'm going to want to circle back to this values menu. And so what this values menu is you're going to come up with a number convention for how you're going to represent ethnicity. So the value means if I input a 1, then 1 stands for, say, Hispanic. If I input a 2, then that stands for Caucasian. And so you want to enter all of your labels here, because what's really nice about SPSS is in all of your outputs, it's going to replace those numbers with what you labeled it with. So your graphics are going to be really, really nice. So it's gathering all of this. So basically, I would continue this until I'm done. And then once I have everything entered, you'll notice how this area is starting to tell us what it is. And then you'll go ahead and you'll put your data in. And it's important to realize, again, just want to reiterate, you might be able to copy and paste and you might not be able to copy and paste. It really depends on your operating system. It depends on a lot of different things. So again, if you by hand enter your data, make sure that you are saying that in your report when you're talking about the analysis process, and you give me what checks and balances that you did to make sure that you didn't have a typo when you transferred the data. And that is how you enter data in SPSS.